I'm Dave First. It's great to be joined by Ricardo Juncos, co-owner of Juncos Hollinger Racing, and on National Hispanic Heritage Month, no less. But there are so many good stories coming out of this shop over the last year. Callum Milot gave you the best season so far in the NTT IndyCar Series. Just announced a couple weeks ago you're expanding to 2 cars in 2023. So there's a lot of good stuff happening with this team right now.
It is. I mean, it's been crazy, obviously, the year, right, as a whole, because it's so dynamic, everything, that I don't even have time to look back a little bit, even last few weeks ago when we was almost on pole position for the Laguna Seca race, which was for us was kind of a winning a race. But clearly we never expect to have the performance that we did have, knowing how difficult is IndyCar, how competitive is IndyCar, having only 1 car with a rookie driver.
2 cars will help, in theory.
In theory, yeah.
Next year.
Or next year, yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go back. Your story is one of hard work, perseverance, growing up in Argentina. You left that country in 2001. There was financial difficulty in the country. How difficult was that decision?
Well, actually, the decision wasn't that difficult because we have no option. But I think that probably was the toughest situation in the history of the country, 2001. So we clearly lost everything. That's the story. With $500 left, I was enough to buy the flight ticket to Miami.
So you go to Miami. By the way, you started off as a mechanic, got into driving. Then you decided to get out of the cockpit to have your own karting team. The karting team worked out okay, right?
Yes, so basically
5 years, 19 championships or something like that. It's crazy.
Yes, and we start Juncos, 1 driver, 8 years old. Second driver was Spencer Pigot. He was 10. So then we had 2 drivers, no team. I mean, the team was just a shop with a toolbox. But then we grew from 2003 to late 2008 when we decided to close the team, winning, like you said, 19 championships, 54, 57 drivers.
Wow.
So the business from this 1 go-kart grew obviously quite a lot.
Well, you closed because your drivers are getting older. You could have very easily stayed, okay, we're going to stay in karting, but you decided to grow with your drivers.
The older drivers are buying Formula cars, 1600 Renault, 2000 Renaults. So then I certainly have 7 cars owned by the customers, so I created my own racing school. And late 2008, we had 3 Pro Mazdas, 3 Star Mazdas cars. And one guy said, Ricardo, why we don't just do the championship? Okay, why not? Nice. Right, so I say, okay, here we go.
Then you decided to do the Indy 500. I'm fast forwarding, I realize. You knocked some guy, Fernando Alonso, out of the 500. And now here you are with a 2-car team. But to your point, though, you have done pretty much everything there is to do in racing, and you can speak the language of an engineer or a driver or someone in the front office. How does that help you in this business? I
have 3 careers in motor racing: mechanical engineer, electromechanical technician, and then engine technician. So I can design racing engines. So if I hire a mechanic, I can see the mechanic working in 10 minutes. I already know if he's good or not, because I was that mechanic for many years.
You have such a vast background,
exactly.
And that's what I think helps set you apart and set this team apart as well. Growing up in Argentina, before you left there, are there things, lessons you learned as a boy with your father that you still use today?
Yes, 100%. My grandfather told me all the time that you never need to worry about it and you need to fix it. But the words are actually very similar in Spanish. So one is to don't worry about it, you don't need to worry, you just need to fix it. Are kind of the same word. So he mentioned that to me, that stick on my mind. He said there is 2 ways. Either you do things right or you learn. That's it. So there is no room in my mind for wrong or for mistakes, even when it's real, because nobody's perfect. So I was never, ever afraid to fail. That's the way I see it.
Look around the shop, though. It's worked out okay.
So far, it's working. I don't want to change that. So that's the...
Well, there's a saying in the States, experience is your best teacher. And that's how you've gotten to where you are. So have a great off-season.
Thank you so much.
He's one of a kind. Ricardo Juncos, NTT's Meet the Paddock.